Agape started as a children's home. Mentioned this lady, Mama Darla. And she, in an act of love, began rescuing these children who were in bad shape and began providing a safe place for them to be. But over time, as we saw the number of street children in Kisumu growing, we put up dormitories and we put beds inside those dormitories. But the problem is that there were still more children on the streets. So what did we do? We built another dormitory. And we decided we better put some beds in that dormitory. And then we decided to put more beds in that dormitory. But we still had a problem of hundreds, maybe thousands street children still remaining in Kisumu. And we began saying, there's got to be a better way. This problem isn't going away. We then began seeing a problem with aging out. At Agape, we began to realize that when these children who we used to care for went off and pursued additional education and training, when they couldn't find a job, guess where they came? Agape. Because Agape had become Mama and Agape had become Baba. And this issue of dependency began to grow and grow. We even had as big a difficulties as before I mentioned that, I'm sure some of you have had this happen as well. We had some old boys who are now adults come back and say, "Where's my sponsorship money? I know I have a sponsor in the U.S. You're eating my money. Give it to me." Am I wrong? So we began to ask ourselves in the early 2000s, is there a better way? Is there a better way? So we started thinking about this idea of getting children back to families. And we were met with a lot of challenges. Everybody told us it was impossible. Okay? On the missionary side, people were saying, these children's homes are terrible. They have no families. They don't even know where their homes are because we never actually went and looked for their families. Right? We never actually met with their families to find out if the stories we were hearing were even true. On our staff side, we were faced with other challenges. These children are chokora. These children are cursed. These children are sexually deviant. How can you put these children ever back inside a Kenyan families? And as Karen mentioned earlier as well, there was the fear also, if this one goes home, I'm going home too. Right? If this home is cleared out, then I'm going to have to clear out. And I'm not going to have a job anymore. So we had many obstacles that existed within Agape in the 2000s as we really wrestled with this idea. But we decided in 2008, you know what? We should try it. We should try this idea of getting these children back home. And so, one by one, we started doing it on a small scale. But it really took until 2012 when we stopped moving from trying it to actually doing it. But we had to ask ourselves, if home is best, then, and we really believe that, then we have to get serious about this. And so we started. And from 2012 till present, God's enabled us to be able to place over 2,000 children back with family successfully, long term. In 2011, we had 200 children active at home after 3 years. Started in 2008. 2011, we had 200 children, and God enabled us to add 150 to 200 to 250 children at home every year. Now, after some time, we began to hit kind of a leveling off point as those 13-year-olds that we placed became 18-year-olds, right? And Agape has since then topped out at about 1,000 children active within the program because others began graduating, right, as adults at home in the village with their families. But all combined, as it stands today, just shy of 2,300 children have been successfully placed at home long term, and they've remained there. And the net result on the streets has been profound as well. As we've worked with these children on the streets, the numbers have been coming down step by step. And I don't want to take credit for Agape for all of this. This is not a one-man effort. We don't stand in front of you as those that attest to know it all. Okay? In fact, I share with visitors when they come to Agape here in Kisumu is that what you see here is 26 years of making mistakes and dealing with street children. And we still don't have it figured out completely. It takes a village to care for a child. And it takes a village to clean up this challenge of children coming from broken relationships on the streets. And we're beginning to see the long-term impact of that. Last week, we did a census on the streets in Kisumu. There were only 89 children sleeping on the streets in Kisumu last week. Only 89. And we can give God the glory for that.